early in the morning, heart of South Philly. Let's go see what the people have got to say. I'm ready to roll the
Now listen here, Dutch. The Mets and the Cowboys, they suck.
1, 2, 3, go Birds! Go Birds! What we got? 302BIRDS, United States. Go Birds! Oh my gosh, Chad.
Your favorite Chicagoan. Go Phils.
As always, God bless. Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302BIRDS podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.
Oh, baby. Some of you already know the cat's out of the bag. Some of you guys don't. As always, we got a jam-packed show for you guys. Y'all know that. But besides the fact of that, we also have a big announcement for you guys. That announcement being, which, you know what? Let me just give you guys a rundown because I want to save the best for last. You guys know I always like to save the best for last on this show. We got our call in Amir. We're going to talk about October being red. We're going to talk about the next Philly sports team that's going to win a chip. We're going to talk about resting in peace to 2 Philly sports legends on a more serious note, obviously a very sad topic. Mishkov showing out the Eagles bye week, a defense being a no-show, Darius Slay and CJ beef. We got that on tap for you as well. And last but not least, Bill Belichick apparently being in Philadelphia today. We're going to be the first outlet to report on it. Some crazy news. But some also crazy news. I got a big announcement for you guys, and that's that a 302BIRDS legend, a 302BIRDS GOAT is going to be coming back to the weekly show. Let's give a round of applause for KJ.
Appreciate it, guys. Glad to be back, and I'm ready to contribute. And the return of the Mac is here, so let's go, guys.
Hey, welcome back, man. From all of us on the show, we're really happy to have you, and
Honored.
it's a blessing. As you guys know, KJ's contributed a ton to 302BIRDS. So having him back on the weekly show is something that I've wanted for a while. Our fans have wanted for a while. The people's champion, the McCoy, is back. So I really couldn't be more hyped for this. One of my best friends back on the show. And just KJ and I were talking about it today. The joy in podcasting is back, right, brother?
Of course, man. I'm so excited, and I can't even feel my toes right now, dude. I'm so pumped. I'm excited. But let's get into it, though. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. And that's actually going to be with a familiar call-in. So I'll hit that intro. But let's kick it to Jack's weekly call.
What do I want when I'm in the state of Delaware? Of course, El Diablo Burritos. Customer service always is serving your food with a smile on their face, asking you how your day is, but their food is phenomenal as well. Their burritos are out of this world, one of the best burritos in town. Their queso is phenomenal. Their burrito bowls are amazing as well. When you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and tell them that 302BIRDS sent you. God bless, go Birds.
Like it said in the in the intro, if you're in and around Delaware, stop by your local El Diablo Burritos and have the best burrito bowl in town. Without further ado, we have a familiar face. Amir, how you doing tonight, buddy?
I'm actually feeling like shit, to be honest. But no, I'm gonna bring the energy to this podcast. Doesn't matter how I feel. It's gonna be a great episode. That's all I gotta say.
What do you have for us? What's questions you have for us?
Okay, so I saw this recently, and well, it's a genuine question. What do you guys think about Avonte Maddox?
Oh, man.
Avonte Maddox is, I don't know. He's always been, hot and cold player for this Eagles team. He has had some great plays, and as we saw last week, He had some missed tackles, so he's also injury prone. So I think we should, not play him as much and give Cooper DeJean a chance to shine and see what he can do for this Eagles team. Because as of last week, this team does not look good at all. So I think throwing these new blood on the field and see what he has for us, and show him that he belongs to be in Philly, and give Vontae Maddox a break. I think that's what we need to do.
I mean, I think with Avonte, I think it's what Jack was just saying. It's some mixed feelings I have for Avonte. I feel like, they released him and they brought him back. He had some stellar plays in the preseason, but so far, though, I haven't really seen any changes from him, though. I feel like he really isn't like a starter caliber kind of player. I don't know why he's still in this roster, but it just seems like Howie has this kind of soft spot for him, and that's why he's still here. So, yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with Avonte, but hopefully this is his last year. I wish him all the best, but, he should have been released like he was in the offseason.
I think it's time to bench him, to be honest. You got to let Cooper DeJean get on the field, because which round was Cooper DeJean drafted in? Does anybody know that off the top of their head?
2, I believe, right? Was it 2?
Yeah, and I think it was their first second-round draft pick, I'm pretty sure. And you're going to use a very high draft pick on a player, and you got to let him get some time on the field. He's a white cornerback.
He's a white boy, but he's a good white boy. God damn it, he's one of the good ones. He's crushing it.
Avonte Maddox, he had too many missed tackles in the Bucs game. There was some tackles. There was one I remember. I forget who was on the Bucs, but Avonte Maddox went through the guy's legs, and I saw that, and I was like, "This guy needs to get benched. It's over for him. He's getting old, and as you get older and you're in the NFL, and with his position, that position doesn't last for long in the NFL. So I think it's his time.
Well,
maybe
I
one
think
last season.
You got it.
Yeah, I'm good.
I think as a group, though, they were missing tackles. There was multiple players who just seemed like they were gassed out there. I don't know if it was the heat. I don't know if they didn't practice how to tackle. Days before the game. I don't know what was going through their minds right there. But Nakobe Dean, you saw him miss a tackle. You saw Slay miss a tackle. You saw, as you said before, Avonte Maddox. I'm pretty sure C.J. Gardner-Johnson missed a tackle. Like, everybody was missing tackles, and it just seemed like they were gassed out there and that they were not adapting to the weather down there for sure. I think it was like around like the high 90s or something like that.
It was 108 was the real feel, they said, of the weather. Because of humidity.
It was like 94 actually or something.
Holy crap. Yeah, so I guess a lot of the players really couldn't adapt to that at all because, the Tampa players, obviously, they're used to that because they're down there all the time. Probably same with the Miami players as well, maybe Jacksonville. But, yeah, all those southern teams, they're used to that kind of weather. But the Eagles, we're really not used to that. We're kind of used to right now it's like 70 degrees, but, then we'll get used to cold weather, I guess, once it starts becoming November. When that comes around.
We will see. We will see. I was actually looking at spring training today, dreaming of maybe going to spring training with Ballpark Tommy. And let's not get ahead of ourselves because we still got a job to finish here with the Phillies. But I do want to give Amir a thank you really quick on the way out here. Amir, thank you for always rocking with us, calling into the show. Please let the people know where they can follow you as well if they want to find you.
Amir H Sports on TikTok, but mainly I do Hyrule Chicken House on TikTok. Greatest food reviews you'll ever see. And look, if I know you and we get along, maybe you can get on an episode.
Ooh,
in the New
maybe
Jersey
I'll take
area.
you up on that. Stay tuned.
Maybe.
One day. Maybe I'll call into the show if something comes out at a drive-through. We'll go on a TikTok live or something at the same time and both try it. There you go. That's a fun way to do it. So there you go. But Amir, appreciate you as always, bro.
All right, go Birds, and at least it's a bye week, so I don't have to suffer. But
well said.
Yeah.
See you, buddy. And like Amir said, make sure to give him a follow, guys, at Amir H Sports. Or if you want to follow his chicken reviews, that's one of my personal favorites. So give him a follow there. But look, the bells are ringing. Everybody's ready. The king himself is ready. Everyone, it is October 2nd. Time for Phillies talk with Ballpark Tommy. Finger stitch.
Well, Dutch, it's another Red October. It's another Red October where football still doesn't matter. Football hasn't started yet. By your standards that Dalt, Jack, Josh, you all set, and football season doesn't matter yet. We still have another month to go before it matters. So let's ring the bell because it's baseball season still. It is red hot baseball season. And the boys are buzzing. The boys had an inner squad today where they tied 5-5. I still want to know what they bet on. Dave Dombrowski said yesterday, when he was kind of like opened himself up to the media and had like all the reporters just asking questions to him, said yesterday that there was like an internal bet, which RIP to Pete Rose, am I right? Like dude got banned from baseball for betting, and now we just have players openly admitting they're betting, but it's fine. Dude should be in the Hall of Fame. I'm just saying. All-time hits leader.
Yep.
But that's besides the point. It's Red October. I'm buzzing. I watched all great games yesterday, except for the Milwaukee game. That was trash. You saw the Royals. Let's finish up business down in Baltimore today. Hey, you saw, thank God, it has been since I was a senior at Salesianum, that the Astros are not in the ALCS. It has been that long. I am old now. I am old as can be. Hey, and they're finally not in the playoffs.
Yeah,
They will not be in the ALCS anymore, Dutch, this year. We'll see what the Milwaukee Mets are doing. As of when we're recording this, it wasn't looking too good for Milwaukee. I like, if not for anything, I want that to at least go 3 games, so the Mets have to use up more guys at least, bare minimum. All that being said, I'm feeling good about Red October. Second half wasn't as strong as the first half, but you know what? Casty sounded like he was good in the inner squad today. Schwarber, excellent. Harper, excellent. We're going to get Turnbull back, which means we can keep Taiwan off the roster, hopefully. Ranger was pumping gas in the inner squad. He's been sitting 89, 90 the last month since come back from his back injury. He was sitting 92, 93. He was pumping it. I'm feeling it, Dutch.
Tom, I got one question for you, and then I'm going to let KJ take it too. I want you both to answer this. What makes this Red October different than the last two?
We own the East, Dutch. We didn't own the East in 22. We didn't own the East in 23, but we own the East in 24. What happened in 22? Wheeler and Nola ran out of gas. Alvarado ran out of gas. 23, Wheeler and Nola ran out of gas. The Bats ran out of gas. Yes. And that crook known as Craig Kimbrell ran out of gas. This year, they have to play one less round, Dutch. That's 2 whole games less than they had to play in the years before. They're going to be rested. My boys are getting 5 days off to rest those beautiful arms. My boys are still raking on their days off. Casty, Schwarber, Hoppe are putting it and launching into the seats still. 5 straight days they got to get back on the groove and to rest their arms. This year's the year, Dutch. This year's different. This year, I'm sticking it to him. This year is the year of decent owners because you know what? The White Sox, the A's, they all went down real hard because of their trash owners. The Trastros went down because of their cheating, lying ass trashy owner. We have John Middleton who wants his effing trophy back, and that's what he's going to give us this year, Dutch.
I love it. I'm here for it. KJ, how are you feeling? I got
That got me hype, man. That got me hype. As Tommy said before, it is time to ring the bell. It really is. I got the bell ready, and I got the whole wrong side. Got the whole Philly shrine and everything like that. I'm ready. As Ballpark said, it's a different year, I feel like. I mean, we are the leaders of the East. We own the NL East right now. I mean, we haven't done that since, what was it, 2013?
2013.
Yep. So that was the last time we really owned the NL East. So that's why I feel like it's different this time. We don't have the Astros in our way. I mean, of anything, they're in the AL, so it doesn't really matter. We would only have to play them, though, in the World Series if we make it there. So, but we don't even have to worry about them because they would probably cheat their way anyway to win the game. But I'm so hyped for this Red October. I'm so pumped for Saturday. I think they're going to kill it. I think they are going to go off, as Ballpark said. I mean, they're going to be rested. They're going to have the same kind of like vibes as well. But I feel like they're way more hungry because they've been here before. They have the experience. They've seen this before. And it just seems like every piece is honestly moving in the right direction for them. So right now I am just ecstatic because I can feel it. I can already sense it that we're going to see a bunch of drunk idiots like myself, Dolt, probably Ballpark, Jack, whoever, on like during we're on Broad Street and we are on the poles and everything like that. And we're running up the poles and everything like that. And we're going insane. So that's what's going to happen. We're going to see a parade. I really, truly believe it this year. I mean, I'm going to cry when it happens and I'm going to rejoice and I cannot wait because we need this to happen. We do.
This is going to be the best feeling ever, I think, for a championship in a long time, because I think being a podcaster at the same time for Philly sports, I've never been a podcaster during a championship run in Philadelphia. I don't know if any of you guys were doing it back in 2018, but it's going to be a different feeling. It's going to be a different vibe. I'll kick the question to Ashley now. What makes this Red October different for you, Ash?
I think because I'm so much more into baseball now. I think because my this was the first summer in 3 years that I've lived at home. So every day I watched every Phillies game for the first time in my life. So I guess on a personal level, that's why it's more important. On, I guess, the professional level, I think they are frustrated that they've gotten here before and they've never been able to really capitalize on what this Red October thing is. They want that trophy back. And I'm really hoping that 5 days of off time is good for us sometimes. Off time is really, really good. All-Star break was a complete disaster. So I don't know. We will see. I'm not feeling as confident as most of my other co-hosts here are feeling. I will say that.
I definitely understand that. I definitely get it. I don't think Jack and I, unless Jack, you would like to, want to get into any. Yep, by all means. So we'll go to our next segment, which I know Jack and I will want to get into, which is who is the next Philly sports team to win a chip. Jack, I'll let you take this one first, brother.
Yeah, so beginning of the season, I really thought it was going to be the Eagles, but sadly they haven't really performed as well as I wanted them to. I mean, hey, like this is redemption for the Phillies, so I really do think, I'm also very, the bye week is nice, but at the same time, we've seen the bye week affect the Braves when they lose the next week. So I truly do think that, out of the 4 teams, it's more likely that the Phillies will get the pennant. And then I think, we'll go probably Eagles and then probably Sixers. No, probably Flyers and Sixers because Sixers are just ass in general. But yeah, I really do think it's going to be the Phillies because I as we've seen in, when they clinched the NL East, Middleton wants his fucking trophy. So I really think that the vibe in the locker room is way different than we expected. We're not playing that damn song, which is great. We have a new song, I think. But Dancing on My Own is a classic song, but at the same time, it kind of bites us in the ass. So I think the vibes are different, and I think the Phillies will get that pennant first out of the 4 teams.
Is it confirmed, Tom? Like, is it confirmed that it is not the song, or what?
They've been playing like a mix, is what Garrett Stubbs said.
You don't want to know what some of those songs say. I was going to say,
I did
but
hear
the
one Trump and let's just say another politician as well was.
No, not that. Some of them are like very inappropriate. Like 12-year-old kids probably shouldn't listen to them. But that's a story for another day. Mac, I'll let you take it next. Who's
different
next to win
podcast?
the Phillies Sports Championship?
Oh man, I mean, of anything right now, I mean, it's the Phillies. I mean, like they're the closest to it right now. Technically, I mean, if you think about it, literally, they are the closest to it. I think they have they're as close as anybody can be. And I think right now the Phils have the momentum. I don't really, I mean, to be honest, as Jack was saying too, with the Eagles right now, I mean, we will get more into it about the Eagles, but right now it just seems like it's in a mess right now with the Eagles in general. And I don't know if I really believe in them to actually get the job done anytime soon with the Super Bowl, or some drastic changes have to happen, especially with the head honcho, I think, who is the leader in the locker room, or who should be the leader in the locker room. But I think if that guy's gone, then yeah, maybe you could see a Super Bowl in the mix, but I don't know. With the Sixers, I mean, I always want to believe in the Sixers, but always reality pops up and the second round pops up. So that's what happens with the Sixers. With the Flyers, I think, you know what? You got a future star in Mishkov, from what I've heard. I think this kid's going to be insane. And I'm really excited to see what this kid can do. I mean, because Flyers fans, they've been waiting for a guy like this. And I mean, they kind of deserve it, to be honest. So I think if anything, it's going to be the Phils, and hopefully it comes really soon. Hopefully it happens in the next month.
I'm here for
this month. Yeah.
I'll go ahead next. It's going to be the Phillies too. That's why I wore this hat tonight. And I wore this shirt. So if you want to buy this shirt, links in the bio story for another day. It's October. I'm going to plug my favorite shirt in 302 Birds history. Freaking love this one. But anyway, it's going to be an amazing October. And it's going to be an amazing November, too. My birthday's November 6th. God, telling you right now, I'm saying it on the show. There is one thing I want for my birthday this year. I want to go to a parade with my favorite people, my family, and Philadelphia sports fans. God, please give me that this year for my birthday. That's the one thing I want. I don't need any item. I don't need any gift. Health and safety, and that. If you could just give us Philly sports fans one. Bryce Harper wants it. Trey Turner wants it. Kyle Schwarber wants it. Casty wants it. Ballpark fucking Tommy needs it. We all
I need it, Dutch. I need it.
Come on. Give us the shot, Phillies. Give us the juice. Kickstart it, because the real truth is once they kickstart it, it's going to be a domino effect. The Phillies are due. Philly is due for a golden era of sports, of championships, of competition. And these guys right here that you're looking at on your screen are really your franchise guys. Even A.J. Brown over Jalen Hurts. I know I wonder if that's why some people are nodding their heads, but I actually didn't make this graphic. Joey did. But looking on it, I agree. I would say, in a way, A.J. Brown, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but right now for this team, A.J. Brown has shown that he is more valuable than Jalen Hurts. It's not that big of a drop-off. It's like 1A, 1B. But I think right now he might have the slight edge. And we can debate that a little bit later on the show. But I'm going to let some other people get to it next. Who hasn't taken it yet? Ash and Tom?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll let Tom take it, because likely I won't have anything else to say after that. So Tom, take that one.
Fair enough. Well, Dutch, you know who I'm going to say is number one.
The Union. Yep, the Union. We know.
Yep, we know. The Union. Yeah, good one.
Yep.
Good one. Probably the Phillies. If we're expanding to the Union be number two for me. If we're being honest, the Union are probably the next closest besides the Phillies, like at winning a championship. If we're just being honest here. Then honestly, I would say it's the Flyers. The Flyers have a young team. They kind of surprised a lot of people last year. And they added a lot of additions, not necessarily through conventional means because they already had these guys, but like they had to wait for their KHL contracts to kind of expire. But the new goalie they have, who I'm drawing a blank on his name, Mitchkov, I think that they're probably closer than the Eagles and the Sixers. The Eagles are a dumpster fire right now. Now they can't stop a nosebleed on a consistent basis. They have no pass defense. They have no pressure. I felt more pressure on a math test in middle school than what they've delivered on any quarterback this season. Like, do they have a sack this year? Like, seriously, like through 4 games, Baker Mayfield could literally go bake a cake back there with all the time he had the whole game last week. So they're not even close to winning a championship compared to the Flyers, who look like they're building towards something, whereas the Eagles look like they're collapsing towards something, collapsing closer to hell. Jesus H. And then the Sixers are more concerned about destroying Chinatown and building an arena than they are building a championship run. So they're out.
There it is. Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, way to keep it real, Tom. How about you, Ash?
Well, I'm just going to say this is why I can't wait for Tom and I to officially, whenever we choose to start our spinoff show that we've been talking about for forever. Sunday dinner coming to you soon. Honestly, I agree. I think the Phils have the best shot. I don't like saying that, but I will say to the point where I have had no words the last couple of weeks. Even if we have won those games, it has not been pretty. I think the Sixers are a while off. I think the Flyers this season will be very pivotal. We'll talk about them in a couple minutes. But honestly, I think the Phillies are our best shot right now.
Yeah. Yeah, well said, Ash. And that's why we have Ashley on this show. She's the voice of reason and the chaos coordinator, and she also has great sports takes like that one. I don't take joy in saying it's in the Phillies either because obviously, as I say, a quote, which should eventually be a t-shirt. I'm sitting in a green fucking room, okay? You guys obviously know. And other people in here are sitting. Tom is obviously sitting at fuckers Cooperstown, so you know his favorite team. And, he's hanging out. But
I changed mine. Like a chameleon. Yeah, it changes.
And KJ, we know he's just the diehard Philly sports fan for sure, too. But actually getting into our next segment, I actually want to get ready to take a moment of silence. And I'm going to take us all off screen for something a little bit sad, a little bit upsetting. As you guys know, which I just flashed on the screen for a second, unfortunately, Pete Rose and Dikembe Mutombo both passed away. So for a second here, I'm going to take everybody off screen. And yeah, if you want to take off your hats, feel free. And yeah, we will honor both of them. Thank you guys all for doing that. I really appreciate that. But just wanted to do that a second so we could pay our respects to two Philadelphia sports guys who have brought this city so much. Unfortunately, 2 big losses. I'll let the 2 Sixers fan and diehard Phillies fan. Why don't we let KJ take it first, and we'll go to Tom. KJ, I mean, instant reaction to Mutombo. That one was really unfortunate. I think I saw 58 years old, very young.
Yeah. I mean, when I heard it, I thought it was some kind of sick joke. I'm a huge Dikembe Mutombo fan. That's what jersey I'm rocking. You guys probably thought it was Iverson. No, it's Mutombo. I have an Iverson, though, too. But I think Mutombo, though, not only was he an amazing player, obviously one of the best defensive players in NBA history, he was even a better person. I mean, he was an amazing from what I've heard, he was an outstanding human being. He was just larger than life. He was such a nice guy. Like, he did a lot for his country of Africa. He did a lot for them, and he means a lot to them over there. And I think right now the whole basketball world is just devastated because all you can hear about this guy Dikembe Mutombo is good things. You don't hear anything bad about him. You really don't. I mean, yes, he did the finger wave at people and all that stuff, But you know what, though? He did it because he deserved to do it. I mean, that was his signature celebration. And he had every right to do it because he would just block the heck out of people. I mean, Michael Jordan just couldn't dunk it over him. It took him like 6 years to dunk it on him. And he was just that good of a defensive player. You would just see him block 4 shots in a row, which is hard to do. The concentration that he showed as a defensive player was just insane. And he deserved to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm glad that he was able to go celebrate with his family when he was inducted. I'm glad that he was able to celebrate with his family of his jersey retirements, both with the Hawks and the Nuggets. And I'll tell you right now, one of my favorite players, actually my favorite player of all time, Allen Iverson, I bet he's going through it right now because he lost one of his friends in Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, the whole NBA world lost a legend for sure. So my prayers and thoughts go out to Dikembe Mutombo and his family. It was very sad, and I was devastated when I heard the news.
Thank you for that heartfelt tribute. That was perfect. That's why I wanted to have KJ do it because he's the truest Sixers fan. And Tom, same thing. Pete Rose, still unfortunate and should be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, he should be. I think just one thing on what on KJ said. I just hope to have the quarter of a life that Dikembe had after his playing career. All the stuff you saw he did, like for Africa, he started hospital systems, got food. He started farming systems for countless people over in Africa. Like the dude's an absolute legend. Like just outside of just pure basketball, just as a human being. But yeah. So, but transitioning to the other guy, Pete Rose. Pete Rose, he's more of a complicated story of like, like he was never a politically correct guy, but like all the stories I've heard this week from like Ray Dittinger and Howard Eskin and all those types of people who were just getting started when he was in his playing days. They all said like he couldn't have been a nicer guy to like kids and all that stuff. He always put his foot in his mouth. He never knew really what to say. He never knew the right thing to say, unfortunately, which is another thing that I think kept him out of the Hall of Fame, which it's not the Hall of Fame of good morals. It's the Hall of Fame of baseball. So that's he's the all-time hits leader, and he's known as Charlie Hustle. Oh, like name me another player in any sport that is trucking a dude in an all-star game. Like he's known for trucking the catcher, literally in an all-star game. And like who does that? Outside of Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati, where he played most of his career, and it's his hometown. There is literally a statue of him flying through the air, sliding into a base. Like that's like his iconic move. Is like, oh, you always saw every picture and video. He's constantly seen almost like flying through the air, Superman style. Oh, because he was hustling around the bases and sliding into a base. He's the all-time hits leader, and you know what? If the Phillies never got him, I don't think they ever would have gotten a championship because he kind of like was that final topping piece. They were close in 76. They were close in 78 or 77, 78, same deal. 79, they were close. They couldn't get over that final hump. And 80, they finally did and won their first championship because of him. So, that's all I gotta say about him. Like, complicated history, should be in the Hall of Fame. At this point, he's the all-time hits leader, and you'll never find another guy close to his record right now. He probably won't because people don't play for that long and as consistently as he did.
Gotta love Jack Jordan having some fun on the show with interesting background choice there. That was from a tailgate that we were at a couple years ago, and that was pretty funny. So gotta love Jack busting some balls. Pretty funny shit. But
should we feel horrible about that, or I don't know?
No. It's Carson Wentz. We can joke around about it. Carson doesn't care. And hopefully we don't look back on that photo in like 10 years and Jalen Hurts ends up being worse or has a worse career. Because, I mean, I don't think that that'll happen, but hopefully that doesn't happen because that would really suck.
I don't know. This season, he's looking like he might be worse.
We
All right,
know
Tom,
you still
shut up
got the
about
Wentz
that.
candle
All
somewhere
right,
in a
Tom,
closet,
relax.
Tom.
Relax.
But that's a story for another day, all right? That's a story for I got my Kelsey one up there that my mother got me, all right? My mother. But
Your mother?
I want to let Ashley take this first because she's probably the truest Flyers fan here. Ash, I mean, the boy, the mad Russian, is getting off to an insane start. Mishkov.
Yeah, he is having a fantastic start to this preseason and looking super, super promising. I've gotten to watch a little bit of a couple of the games, and he's looked really solid. He's looked comfortable on the ice. He's looked comfortable with his teammates, which is all what we want to be seeing at this point. However, just like in any sport, preseason is always sunshine and rainbows. So we will see come the regular season what they are truly made of, but this on paper is a phenomenal start.
Yeah, he's been insane, and he's really been somebody that I feel like the Flyers can rely on, which at a young age, at 19 years old, the fact that they can rely on him that much is nuts. 3 goals, 3 assists so far through the preseason. And I think Chris said it on Sippin' Sports this weekend too, KJ, just the caliber that this guy has to be in the NHL. I mean, this dude can really be a top 3 player in the NHL. We're talking Ovechkin. We're talking Connor McDavid level. Like when he's fully developed, this guy could be a guy to bring people to Philadelphia to watch him like those other players did when they were doing their sport, like McDavid does with the Oilers. So I really think that the Flyers got somebody that was gritty, somebody that has a nose for the puck and a nose for the goal. And like Tom alluded to earlier, Urson had a great game the other night. I haven't really kept up with it. I just saw the stats, so I haven't kept up with Urson. But I did see Urson had a full 60-minute shutout, which is exactly what you want to see out of your young goalie. I know there was a little bit of a struggle last year for Samuel Urson, but it's good to see that he is really taking the bull by the horns and running with it because that's what you want to see out of your goalie. Somebody made a quote to me. Maybe it was Frank Longo, Jack. And he said, goalies have to be crazy. They have to have that edge. And I really think that you want to see your goalie just really take that opportunity and run with it. And that's the perfect way to do it. Tom, why don't you go ahead and take it next? If you want to explain this guy in football terms, can you do that?
This is like getting... This is like getting...
Travis Hunter.
I don't know who Travis Hunter is. He's a bum. If I don't know who he is,
Buffalo's Colorado.
Oh
He
shit!
plays both sides of the ball. He's insane.
Yeah.
KJ, whatever.
This is like getting AJ Brown, Dutch, from Tennessee to the Eagles. It's an instant upgrade. A high score is gonna produce instantly. So like AJ Brown.
Jack,
All
don't
right.
you agree though the Travis Hunter comparison's a little bit like more realistic?
Who the hell's Travis Hunter?
No, he's a bum. He plays both sides of the ball. He's a bum. He's still a bum. I don't care. I played both sides of the ball in high school, and I was.
You were a bum too. You only got 10 yards.
You were a bum.
Hey, that's more than Josh Epcot who played the position.
Anyway, circling back, Michkov is going to be, I wouldn't say the Ovechkin type. I think he's, still has some time to improve his role on the Flyers. So it's right now it's preseason, so it doesn't really matter. So it's a matter of down the road, middle of the season, this kid's a reliable player, and that we can say make some comparison. So I'm glad he's at the Flyers. I think he's going to do well, and we'll see what he can do in the regular season.
And Jesse, I appreciate you commenting on here, man. If you want to call into the show sometime soon, please shoot me a message and we can coordinate something because I love people with Flyers expertise. Ashley is our girl. She kills it when it comes to the Flyers talk, and so does Tom. Tom really gets into it. I remember in college, there were a couple times that Tom got passionate about it. I'll leave it at that. And I'm just talking about his dress code wise. I mean, the man has a full fit of Philadelphia Flyers where he is decked out. But We've talked enough Flyers, I think. If everybody agrees with me on that, we're not a Flyers show. We're a fucking Eagles show. And 40 minutes into it tonight, we are getting into the Eagles, which Merle Reese himself said he's glad that the team is having a bye week. You know it's bad when people don't want to watch the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia is a football town. People don't want to watch the Eagles. You probably got a problem. But this is
It's a baseball city now, Dutch. We're taking over.
Shut the fuck up, Tom. All right.
Ring the bell.
Point is, all right, it is Red October. I'll always salute to that in October. But point being, the Philadelphia Eagles have needed this bye, just like the Phillies kind of needed the bye. But the Eagles more because they are losing momentum fast. Yes, if Saquon catches that ball, the Eagles are 3-1. But are they really a convincing 3-1? As I look back on my notes in the postgame show, the only game that I think we were all really impressed, well, 2 games, I should say, were the 2 wins. But the 2 losses, and if that Falcons game would have been a win, I don't know if I would have been necessarily sold. They haven't been living up to expectation. Shout out to Sean Porter in here with that comment as well. I mean, the Eagles are just underperforming. There's drama going on in the locker room with the Slay, CJ, and GJ beef. We'll get to that later in the show. But this is just if they took the field this week, this would be a clusterfuck among clusterfucks. And Eagles players, if there's ever one that watches this show, I don't mean that as an insult. I just mean there's just so much going on. I don't even blame the players for their mind spiraling. You got all the drama in the locker room. You got injuries. You got the team isn't really performing. And then you got us asshole Philly sports fans. So I can't really blame a player for getting upset like that. I can't really blame a player for getting passionate about their job or saying to people, hey, maybe you shouldn't do this. I probably wouldn't do it. I probably wouldn't make that tweet because I know that you're going to get people like me making a video talking about it, right? Hence, we're here. Point being, Eagles fans, lay off a little bit. Like Philly captain said with Trey Turner, sometimes the team needs love. And I'm not talking about tough love. I'm talking about love, to quote Philly captain on that. And that's kind of what this team might need right now from the fans. They need patience, they need our love, and they need us to back them. They also need to get their shit together. But guys, I promise you, Nick Sirianni and the rest of the coaches are definitely telling that to them. And these guys are grown-ass men. They know that themselves. So I'll let Jack take it first, then KJ, then Ballpark. But Jack, bye week, much needed. No bye week blues for you?
I mean, it's, beginning of the season, having a bye week at week 5, I was a little like, I'm not sure about this. And then now seeing how the season has gone, we definitely need it. Just kind of circle the wagons, get everybody on the same page, and kind of, get our shit together. Because, granted, we're 2-2 right now. Had some tough games. I don't think, like Tom said at the beginning of the show, I don't think it's a dumpster fire yet. We're 2-2, so you need to relax about that.
It's a dumpster fire.
No, it's really not. Dumpster fire is 0-4. So Tom, just shut up, please. Thanks.
We lost to the Falcons.
Hold on, let him finish his point. Then you can get into him. Go ahead,
Falcons
Jack.
are not a bad team right now. Are you kidding me? Anyway, it's much needed bye. We have hopefully AJ Brown is back. Hopefully we have Johnson back. Hopefully we have, Devontae Smith back. This is a much needed bye, and I think we can circle the wagons and, come back, beat the shit out. I mean, it's nice that we're playing the Browns after the bye, so that's huge for us. But I think, getting healthy is our main goal, and as long as we can stay healthy the rest of the season after this bye week, I'm not too worried about it. So, we'll figure it out in this bye week. It's nice. I don't have to stress about a Sunday game for the Eagles. I can kind of just relax. I'm actually going golfing, so it'd be nice to play that and relax. But yeah, that's all I got.
Soft.
KJ?
Let Tom go first. My dog's barking, so
let Kate. Okay.
Go ahead, Tom.
Fine. First of all, Jack, we all said the Falcons was going to be a win, so I'm not too confident about the Browns. I don't think we could beat the Little Sisters of Poor right now. I don't know how we beat the Saints. They actually did apply pressure that week with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, but it's not consistent pressure. This team hasn't really applied pressure across all 4 games consistently. Hey, that's just an honest observation. And sure, they were missing AJ Brown and Devontae Smith. Devontae Smith, who was out because of a dirty hit. Let's not forget that. Just I get you were missing personnel last week, and it was hot. Like unbearably hot. Like they shouldn't have been playing that game because of how hot it was in 108-degree feels like temperatures. That being said, it was hot for both teams. Deal with it. Grow up. They don't have an adult in the room. And what's Sirianni there for? He's not an adult. He acts with emotion. Doesn't think logically. What's he there for? Vic Fangio has been a huge disappointment. And he's a lot like Jonathan Gannon and doesn't know how to adjust. Kellen Moore's trying his best, but Jalen Hurts either wants to throw a deep ball and say, F it, AJ's down there. Oh, wait, AJ's been out since after week 1. And he's not down there. Or he throws it into the bench. Like, at some point, the dude needs to wake up in the first half. He hasn't played a full game yet. And he didn't show up in the first half against the Packers. Didn't show up until he didn't show up in the first half against the Falcons. Didn't show up till the fourth quarter against the Saints, and somewhat woke up right before halftime against Tampa. The dude needs to wake up. They had 0 yards after the first quarter. I can't blame that on Sirianni. That's poor execution. And I could have Jesus Christ calling plays for this team. And he probably couldn't even get more than a yard out of Jalen Hurts in the first quarter at this point. Whatever he's doing to get ready for the game, he needs to start it another hour before that because he's not ready. Every week in and week out, he does not come prepared. It's a systemic issue that started last year after they were 10-1 that has carried through this year. And who is the common denominators? The common denominators are Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni. Vic Fangio was brought in, Kellen Moore was brought in, and nothing has changed. Kellen Moore ran a fantastic offense in LA with the Chargers. I was in San Diego there. Ooh. Vic Fangio ran a fantastic defense down in Miami. And now the Miami defense has taken a step back. Same with the Chargers offense. So who are the common denominators of not succeeding in this league? Jalen Hurts hasn't been successful since the Super Bowl. He has not returned to form. And I get it. Last year he was injured. This year AJ Brown has been hurt. But when do the excuses stop and we start playing? When? They needed this bye. Hey, this team has been a dumpster fire from what we expected them to be and where they're at. Hey, the defense can't stop a nosebleed. I got Darius Slay going on Cowboys podcast to rip apart teammates. That's not what a leader does. Jack, I wouldn't see Bryce Harper caught dead going on a Mets podcast to do that about one of his teammates. He stands by his teammates. I got Eagles players who don't stand by their teammates, and that's because they have a child leading them in Nick Sirianni, because they're a dumpster fire and have the mental maturity of a 5-year-old right now. No, I'm done with the Yoda-isms. Learn how to show up to a game in the first quarter, and we can go back to growing our flower from a small little seed.
Oh, he's hot. He's hot.
Yoda-isms.
JJ,
What great analysis there, Ballpark. Very great analysis. But gotta be honest, you were very wrong in some aspects. Yeah, just some. But for Jalen, though, I feel like his downfall really happened after the Bills game last year. I feel like before that he was fine. I mean, we were what? We were 10-0, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, or we were something crazy. It's a crazy record. And then that's where the collapse happened. We had the Kelly Green game where we beat the Bills, and then overtime game, and you had Jalen Hurts like this in the end zone, like, are you not entertained? And then we weren't entertained for the next 6 games, and now kind of transitioning to the next season as well. I kind of see what Tommy is saying, for sure. But here's what I think. I think right now they can fix this somehow. I mean, it's good that we have a bye right now of all weeks. To have a bye, I think it's going to benefit us of anything. I really do. But at the same time, though, do I believe in the leader, a.k.a. the head honcho, the head bozo, as I call him, Nick Sirianni, the clown on the sideline? No, I don't believe in him at all, because he literally does nothing but complain. He bloats if we do something correct, like if we do something good, he bloats about it. Or if a ref does something wrong, he just complains about it and won't let it go. I'm just kind of tired of his
coach, though. That's
What's
every
up?
coach. That's every coach. They're all.
I guess, yeah, that is true. But with him, though, it's like he can't get over it, though. For some reason, he can't get over it. And I think the players have kind of realized, and it's something that's bringing Belichick. I agree.
We're going to get to that soon. Don't worry. We're ready.
He apparently was at the Philly airport today, so maybe we do bring him in. But honestly, I do not think that this is a dumpster fire. I don't think we like the house is on fire or the world is in danger. No, I think we're okay. It's just we can fix this. But yes, is there little girls' school drama going on right now? Yes. Darius Slay thinks he's a captain. I mean, he's a captain of his team, but he's going on Cowboys players podcast. I mean, that's unacceptable for sure. And bashing CJ Gardner-Johnson. I mean, the wrong dude to bash, because he will go at you, dude. You better watch it. Just remember that. So yeah, there's just a bunch of things going on, but they can be fixed. They can be fixed. I hope they will be fixed. And I just don't think it's a dumpster fire yet, but it's kind of showing some signs that it could be. So I kind of see where Tom's coming from in that aspect, but I still think he is wrong.
I love the impressions.
So I'm a betting man, as we all know. I will want to wager a bet with Tommy right now. Okay, we are 2-2 right now, right? We have this bye coming up. The Eagles will end the year 12-5, and they'll win the NFC East. The Cowboys are not good at this year. The Commanders are looking kind of hot right now, but it's the Commanders. They will still have a positive season. I mean, we have probably going after this bye an easy sum schedule, next 5 weeks. And we're 2-2 right now. We have this bye. This team will bounce back. Granted, Nick Sirianni isn't the greatest head coach, but he has taken us to the playoffs and won Super Bowl when he's been our head coach. And this is Jalen Hurts' team, so it's a matter of him showing his leadership on this team, and we haven't seen that. So, Tommy, all the hate you're saying, the season's over. We're still 2-2. If this is happening mid-season, then we can rekindle it. But it's 2-2, brother. We have a bye week 5, and then we play the Browns. The Browns are not going to do shit this season. So we'll get healthy. Jalen Hurts is going to be way better than he has been. Saquon Barkley is going to show off. Devontae Smith when he's back. AJ Brown, we're fine. I mean, this is why this Eagles fan base, I love them, but I also hate them because we have lost just 2 games, and they're already counting the season out. We have one of the easiest schedules this season. I think the 9th easiest schedule this season. They're not playing great football right now, but that is going to change, and we will see a different team the next weeks coming after this bye. I'm telling you right now, quote me right now at 10 o'clock at night on October 2nd, the Eagles will be 12-5, and they'll win the NFC East.
Yeah. And Tom, realize this too, that we did not have AJ Brown. We did not have Devontae Smith. We did not have Lane
that,
Johnson.
KJ, if you listened.
Yeah. I'm just
Tom, we also had Lane Johnson out.
Yeah.
We've been plagued with injuries on the offensive line right now. We're playing our fucking 2nd or 3rd string linemen right now. We're playing surprisingly well, but we have riddled with injuries, and you said this that
Yeah.
we expected this team to do better than they are, but that's every fucking season. As Eagles fans, the last 3 years, we expect to do better, and we still fall short. So
Jack, answer me this question. So you are saying it's hate, but it's not hate. It's just an analysis of what has happened. Anyone with 2 eyes has seen what's happened. Tell me how many games the Eagles have won the turnover battle since the Buffalo game last year. I'll give you a hint. It's a big round number.
0.
0. Please tell me how many games Jalen Hurts has lost the turnover game since then. Every single game. Hey, he's turning into what Carson Wentz was. I can spot common themes. That's all I'm doing. Hey,
Jalen Hurts has had
if you look,
3 or
but
4
tell
different
me,
offensive coordinators,
the
and his
defense has not been hurt. The defense has not been hurt. You're giving all these excuses for Jalen, our $50 million quarterback. Heck, we got to call a spade at this point. When Wentz was in there, we called a spade and called him a turnover machine. I mean, with Jalen in there, he's the new $50 million man. He's doing the same exact thing as Carson did. The numbers are eerily similar. Take your emotion out of it and look at a spreadsheet, my guy. Look at the numbers. That's why I'm saying, unless something gets turned around, this is a dumpster fire already.
I feel like you guys are saying the same thing. And don't get me wrong. You guys are everybody's frustrated and fucking pissed off, right? You got Sean Porter in here saying the Eagles might go 9-8. And that's not the fucking craziest thing in the world to say right now. But when you look back on this in 5, 3, 2 weeks, maybe, we're going to go, no, that's not crazy, because that's how it is being a Philly sports fan. It's a roller coaster of emotions. So I will never say any Philly sports fans' takes are invalid or wrong or this or that, because every Philly sports fan feels a different way, feels a different passion. That's what the players need to get, and they need to understand it's not personal. There's nothing personal about it. It's just how Philly sports fans care. Some guys get it, some guys don't. But moving along to the next topic, as we do, Philly fans hold their team accountable. I love the word that Joey put in here, throttled. The Eagles did get throttled by the Tampa Bay Bucks. Joey, great word choice. Shout out to Joey who does our graphics. But they got screwed 33-16. I mean, as a Philadelphia Eagles fan, you would expect a certain level of expectation for your team going into a team like Tampa Bay that has really just had their way with you, it feels like, throughout the past 20 years. We can go back to, when we were kids and they beat us. I think it was in the last game at the Vet, was it? So you had that. Then you have the whole experience that we had last year with Baker. We had 2 years ago with Brady. So the Philadelphia Eagles have just really been like the Incredible Hulk, just taking Loki and going like that with them. It sucks. It's frustrating. You want to be able to show up when you play a team like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You want to be able to show up when you play somebody that's your kryptonite for Jalen Hurts, like Todd Bowles. When they blitzed on 3rd and 27, gentlemen, some people say, that's disrespectful. That's not good. No, that's just football. If you can do it and get away with it and your defense can, I don't hate that at all, because you know what? If the Eagles were doing it, I wouldn't complain. But Jalen Hurts has got to be ready for that. The team has got to be ready for it. The defensive gameplay going into this game needed to be different. So there's a lot of things that need to get fixed, gentlemen, with this team. But I am confident that they will bounce it around. I like what I still think that they're capable of 12 wins. I do agree with that. And I don't think anybody disagrees with it. I just think that everybody's a little bit frustrated with the Eagles. And obviously, after that fucking Tampa Bay game, how could you not be? I mean, it was ass. KJ, you want to go ahead and take it next?
Yeah, I think it was a heck of a disaster with the Eagles, as I was saying before. I think it was we kind of had a feeling that we were going to lose this game just because of all the missing pieces we did not have. And we just thought in general, though, I mean, like the Buccaneers seemed like they were bound to win because they had a crazy loss against the Denver Broncos at home So they didn't want to repeat themselves and lose again at home, especially in front of the home fans. So, I mean, they played their butts off, and kudos to Baker Mayfield. I mean, he freaking was throwing darts, and to even former receivers that we used to see never catch anything against us. Sterling Shepard, one of them, he apparently plays for the Buccaneers. I didn't even realize till last week that he was on the Buccaneers and he wears number 17. So pretty crazy. He was even going up there and leaping for catches. So I mean, they were just balling out, and we couldn't tackle for crap. And that was the most infuriating I probably felt seeing a defense of an Eagles defense I've seen in a long time, because it just seemed like they just did not know what they were doing out there. They seemed like they were playing a different kind of sport out there, that they didn't know how to tackle anymore. It was weird to think that those guys are professionals, because there was just multiple, not just one player, but multiple players missing tackles after tackles. And it just seemed like something was dominoing down for the Eagles. And hopefully this isn't a factor again. But I think it's great to have a bye week right now, because we can go back to it now and we can be like, okay, you know what? We played like pure ass this week. You know what? We got to flip the switch and we got to play smash mouth football somehow, even though we do have a coordinator who wants to keep on changing the game plan, changing press coverage and all this kind of stuff. It's crazy. So we'll see what happens. I do think, as Jack said before, as he alluded to, we do play the Browns, who the Deshaun Watson is not what he was when he was playing for the Texans at all. I mean, he just isn't. And the Browns really, I mean, they are not what they were a couple of years ago. So I think we will hopefully bounce back and win the game. But I would not sleep on the Cleveland Browns defense, because they have Myles Garrett, who is a absolute monster.
Mm-hmm.
And we got to watch out, and our offensive line is going to have to step up for sure. But I think if you have Lane Johnson there protecting the reins, I think we'll be A-okay.
So, Tom, I'll let you take this, and I'll let Jack take it. And then I want to get into the beef of CJGJ and Slay, because I know we all got a lot to say about that. But defense completely didn't show up this week. They just blanked, right?
They didn't get off the plane. Point blank and simple.
Yeah.
They gave up 24 points right away. Granted, part of it is it feels like 108, and Jalen can't even get a first down in the first half. So that's a little bit of their excuse. But 14 missed tackles, that's not gonna have that's not a recipe for success. You know, like, this is the NFL. I saw a lot of bad tackling. Like, I don't know if we have to go back to Pop Warner fundamentals of, okay, head up, wrap them up, ready, set. like there was no, like, Baker Mayfield didn't feel any pressure all day. Hey, like, I made the joke earlier that I had more pressure on a math test, but, like, it's true. They applied no pressure on Jordan Love, really, except towards the end of that game in Brazil. And I'll give them, it was a bad field. That's their excuse for that week. Against the Falcons, they have no excuse. They showed up against the Saints. That's 1 week. Check. Hey, didn't show up in Tampa. 3 out of 4 weeks, you failed your mission as a defensive line and sending the blitz. So at some point, Vic Fangio, as a coach, should have made an adjustment and dropped more guys back in coverage to defend against the quick passes that Baker Mayfield was doing, and he didn't. That's a failure on the coaching staff and the play caller on defense. But it is what it is. You're not getting home with the blitz. You're not getting home by just rushing 4, and you weren't defending and breaking up passes. It sort of kind of happened later in the game, because the receivers were tired of celebrating in the end zone and got exhausted, but they absolutely did not show up at all. This week, and it's become a trend in the first 4 weeks of this season.
Yes, you're right. The defense did not show up, but at the same time, he was getting that ball out so quick that we couldn't really apply much pressure. But when he dropped back and we applied the pressure, he was scrambling. So it was a combination of he got the ball out. As soon as the ball was snapped, the ball was out of his hands, and we couldn't stop it. They game planned for that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not giving a pass that the defense, I'm not giving pass on defense, but when a quarterback gets the ball out that quick, I mean, it's kind of hard to cover them. I mean, I guess that's our weakness, how quick you get the ball out. I mean, like I said, he snapped the ball 1.7 seconds or 2 seconds, that ball was out. Like, we can't stop that. And yes, we had missed tackles, right? Dikembe Mutombo had a great play when he came in the circle, broke up that run. But yeah, once you take out the pressure in the quarterback's face, we're cooked. So you need to get better on getting off the ball, like Tom said, quick, and getting that one that block out of the way and getting the tackle. But it was the heat was an issue, and we got some big dudes on the D line. Jalen Carter went out because he was I guess he was hyperventilating because it was so hot out. So we will not see the heat like that the rest of the season. I mean, I'm not sure if are we playing Jacksonville this year, or are they coming to
We do, but at home.
Okay, so we're not going to see that heat, anytime, longer, because that was an unreal hot day after a hurricane. So I think take that out. I think we'll be, what's the word I'm looking for? We'll be a lot quicker off the ball because we're not playing the heat. That's all I got to say. I mean, these little mistakes, this is why the bye is right now. So I think we'll see a different defense. We'll see a different offense. I mean, the biggest issue that kind of set the tone was our special teams. We saw fucking Isaiah Rodgers push the guy into Cooper DeJean, caused a fumble. They got the ball. And then we had Keely Ringo running, literally wrecking Cooper DeJean. So I don't know what was going on with special teams, but we need to nip that in the butt and not have those mistakes. After those mistakes, it kind of just was downhill after that. The vibes weren't there. So, fingers crossed. This team is still a good team, and we'll see a different team come week 6.
I just looked up those advanced stats too, Jack, which I'm glad you brought that up, that pocket time stat. I really like that. Jalen Hurts is like 28th, 27th in the league, maybe 26th, with an average of 2.6 seconds throughout the season of getting the ball out. It doesn't sound like much of a difference. Baker Mayfield is 7th in the league at 2.0 seconds. So if you look at the difference, that 0.6 seconds doesn't sound like a lot to the average individual, but you guys need to understand it really makes a difference of even that 1, 2, 3, 1. And they were talking about it on WIP this week. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Just getting that ball out needs to be a theme because he didn't have any pocket awareness this week, which was absolutely despicable. That was one of the things that we're saying, what the hell happened? But just for time's sake, getting into our next topic, something I know we're all really hyped to talk about. And then if you have trivia, Jack, just let me know in the chat. We can get into that too. If not, we'll continue next week. No worries. Cool. All right. I'll make sure to hit that in a second after this segment. But for our main course, Bill Belichick coming to Philly, which is crazy to talk about. But before we get into that, I don't want to say unfortunately, because look, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, if any Eagles player would have went on a rival podcast, like Tom said earlier, I get it. It wouldn't be okay. I will play devil's advocate for the player and say, and I understand it. It's a business world. These guys are just trying to promote their business. But it wasn't like Darius Slay went on that. And it's one thing if you talk about that backstage. It's another thing if you talk about it live on the show when it's recorded. Like you got common sense, man. You know what you're doing. And unfortunately, it just felt like Darius was kind of like going along with that conversation. I wouldn't say that he said anything bad about CJGJ, but he also didn't really defend his guy. In a football game, when you have really 10 other guys on that defense with you, you need to be able to bond with those guys. You need to feel like those guys have your back and you have their back. Because every Sunday and Monday, when you go out there, you're going to fucking war with those guys. Those are your brothers. Those are your troops. Those are your soldiers. And it really rubbed me, I wouldn't say the wrong way, but I would say not the right way. There was nothing bad that was said, but there was also nothing right that was said. And Slay, that's why a lot of Eagles fans are criticizing it, is because it's almost like, okay, what was the point of this? Maybe it was to promote your brand, which I get that. Maybe it was to help Micah out. Maybe Micah's going to come here one day. We all know he wants to be a Philadelphia Eagle, but that's a story for another day. But with this whole Slay, CJ, GJ drama, it just feels like a completely unnecessary thing that this team doesn't need right now. And it's just kind of immature, in my opinion. So I'm not really about it. I'm not here for it. How are you guys feeling about some of it?
I mean, I get it. It's you're going to a rivals podcast, but at the end of the day, they're still human beings, right? Yeah, they're for 2 hours, they're banging head to head, making tackles, they're playing ruthless on the field, right? But at the end of the day, all these players are friends. I mean, I'm not gonna if I was in the shoes, I'm not gonna hate my good buddy who plays for the different team. That's just childish, I think, that we think this way. So I really don't think there's anything of it. He was just trying to help him out, kind of talk football, talk ball. And I mean, at the end of the day, they're all friends. I mean, they are all friends. I don't care, Tommy. I know you're not. I'm not. I know you don't agree with me, but at the end of the day, they're just dudes. They happen to be on different teams they're rivals. But at the same time, they're still friends. I just don't think it's that big of a deal at all. And we're making it a big deal for no reason, because this Eagles team is not playing great football right now. So we just want to hate on a player for doing this. So I just think what this whole media stunt is just bullshit. Just trying to kind of avoid the fact, try to take a bullet at somebody who, hasn't really done much this season. So I think, why are we even talking about this?
Jack, answer me this question. Is Micah Parsons lining up right next to Darius Slay next Sunday?
No.
Is CJ Gardner-Johnson lining up next to Darius Slay next Sunday?
Yeah.
So based off of those answers, he needs to go out and defend his brother of war. They are going out there and putting their bodies on the line together. And you're going to go on somebody and kind of nod along and laugh at one of your teammates. You're going to go out there and laugh at one of your guys who, in a few weeks, when they take the field of battle together, Micah Parsons is hoping to knock him out of the game. So his quarterback gets an advantage. He's hoping somehow, some way, something happens to CJGJ. Hey, so then, and Dak Prescott can light him up even easier. I'm sorry, but you just don't do that. You don't go on someone else's podcast. I get the whole friends thing. Hey, let's take it to baseball. You see it at the All-Star game. They're all friends there. But the other 162 games, that they're rivals. It is mano a mano. You're going head to head, and he's your arch rival. Whoever is not on my team is my enemy. Plain and simple.
And it's just two different generational mindsets. One's not right, one's not wrong. It's just, like I said, 5 years ago, a lot of people would have felt very different about this. I shared the video of Malcolm Jenkins and Des Bryant.
Now.
Yeah.
Now, Tommy, I'll ask you this, though. Is it wrong that Jason Kelce and Travis Kelce had a podcast last year and they were both playing? They were both current players. Is that wrong?
Yes. You shouldn't have been doing it while you were a player. I get it. They're brothers, though, which makes it a little different. It's different than friends. You're always going to have your actual family. I'm going to
the Chiefs, and in all fairness, the Chiefs and the Eagles maybe have a little rival, but it's not It's not
Yeah.
like Eagles
Not
Cowboys.
the
So
Eagles, Cowboys.
Exactly.
I get the business aspect of it too, but KJ, we'll let you take it too. And real quick, before we get to KJ, I just wanted to flash up this Twitter poll for you guys so you guys could see it tonight. If you guys don't give us a follow on Twitter, please, we're trying to grow it on there. But who's to blame for 2-2? We asked the fans this today on Twitter, and 20% of people said Nick Sirianni, 0% in 10 votes,
Wow.
which is not a lot. But if you want your voice to be heard, 0% said Jalen Hurts, which I find very interesting. Not taking any shots at Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, if you're listening to this, man, you can't say the city doesn't love you, brother. You can't say it with that. 10% is on player execution. That's 1 vote. And 70%, a staggering 10 out of the 7 votes, or 7 out of the 10 votes, were a blend of the 3. And maybe this podcast too. But KJ McCoy, we'll let you take it next. How are you feeling about the whole beef?
Well, I was kind of saying before, I do think it is kind of like middle school, elementary school drama. And it's not really needed, to be honest, because we got football games to win. And especially at the beginning of the season, I mean, it's gonna fuel the fire. I mean, we already got a bunch of fire going on in this locker room with this team right now. I mean, but it could be fixed though. It could be fixed. But I just feel like it's another little piece of just anxiety that brings to the team. It brings to the fan base for sure. Darius Slay, yeah, I don't know how he's a captain at all because he has not showed at all how he is a captain. After the game, he also tweeted his accolades. He apparently was like, I guess he was retweeting somebody who was saying like, hey, you had a trash game. What the heck happened? And then he just did his accolades and everything like that. Should have just owned up and be like, you know what? I did screw up. You know what? We're going to get the next game after the bye. But yeah, he didn't do that. And then he went on a podcast with Micah Parsons of all people, who has talked trash about the Eagles many times. I don't know if he really wants to be Eagle. I really don't believe it. I know people say that he wants to be. I don't think he does. I think he hates us, and he really doesn't want to be an Eagle. So, which I'm fine with. It's totally fine. But I think with Darius Slay, though, he needs to honestly check himself right now because he is putting the team at risk right now. He really is. I mean, I think he is one of the problems for sure. And yes, there's other problems going on right now. You got Devin White as well doing some things. And then I think you also got the whole headbutting with Jalen and Nick Sirianni. But yeah, no, Dole, he does not want to be an Eagle, dude. He doesn't.
I think he does. I think he just
No, he
can't
doesn't.
say it yet. He wears the
He grew up
Sixers
as a
jersey.
Cow-
He'll be here in Red October when the
He
Phillies
grew
win
That's
the
what I'm
World
saying.
Series.
It's
Mark
like
my words.
No, he
How do
grew
you
up as
feel?
a
How do you
Cowboys fan.
feel that Micah Parsons was at a Sixers game and also at a Phillies game last season? It's literally the same thing. He hates the city of
it's good for
Philadelphia.
us.
Well,
He
because
hates the city of Philadelphia, but yet he's a fan.
represents-
So like,
yeah.
it's just this whole fucking bullshit about, oh, look what he's doing. If social media wasn't a fucking thing, this wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah.
And we're letting social media be the biggest issue of why this is getting clickbait. It's just bullshit. Like, stop. No one cares. No one cares.
Yeah.
Well, you know what people
yeah.
will always care
Right.
about, Jack? Your trivia. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dorden, the mayor of Delaware.
Thank you.
I don't have the score, FYI, so
If,
we'll get them an update next week.
Yeah, it's Eagles season, it's Phillies season. Buy your ticket through TickPick for no fees at all. Enter the code 302BIRDS. What is that? Is that what it is? It's on our bio. On
Yeah, we
Instagram.
have a link. You just click it, and you get $10 off your first order. Must be $99 plus.
Anyway, tonight's question we have for you is, who was the first player to rush for 100 touchdowns? Again, who was the first player to rush for 100 touchdowns? A. Emmitt Smith, B. Jim Brown, C. Barry Sanders, or D. LaDainian Tomlinson?
All right, I'm going to text you my answer.
I already texted you, Jack.
KJ, send me your answer.
Yep, I got you.
Text it to
And
me.
before we get
You'll give
into
the
our
answer in the
answer,
show.
thank you, Jack. Now getting into it. About an hour ago, this guy was seen in an airport in Philadelphia. Is he hanging out with a cheerleader? Probably not, because he's seen one up in New England or something. So there's only one thing that Bill Belichick is doing in Philadelphia, and that's probably talking to somebody. Maybe he's talking, maybe it's a consulting thing. Maybe it could be a consulting thing. It very much could be. Could be something for the broadcasting that he's doing. He could have done an interview or a podcast with somebody. Maybe we might see Bill on an episode of New Heights or something, or teaming up with Jason Kelsey or doing something. They're both obviously huge public figures. So I wouldn't rule out a media stunt or something like that, like something media related. But I will say, if he was here with the Philadelphia Eagles in some sort of way with consulting, or if he was the Philadelphia Eagles in some sort of way that he had a private meeting with Jeffrey Lurie and this thing just got leaked because Philly fans are smart. Woo! Bye-week drama is heating the fuck up. And not at the best time for the Eagles, because everything is pretty much collapsing before them. And you got this drama now. Like I said, if Nick Sirianni didn't know about this, I wonder what's going through his head. Initial reactions. Is my job in jeopardy? Am I out? I really wonder if he knew about this, and if he didn't, what the fuck's going through his mind right now? Because a lot would be going through mine. Gentlemen, how are you guys feeling?
This could drop tomorrow morning. I mean, this is crazy. This could drop tomorrow morning. We could hear the breaking news. Nick Sirianni has been fired, and Bill Belichick has been hired. We could hear it, but I don't know. It might just be like a bunch of hoopla. And then we just like, maybe he's just here for like a certain friend or something. Maybe he really is for some weird reason. Maybe he's just clickbaiting all of us. But I hope he isn't. I really hope that we get the news tomorrow that Sirianni is gone, because I don't think he can really bounce back from what he has kind of shown so far. And Belichick is the new head honcho. That's what I think. I hope he is. I really do.
Think that. Go
ahead.
Tom.
No, go ahead, Jack. Because mine's boring.
All I got to say is I think, maybe he has family up here, or maybe they're kind of looking to his opinion on, what he's seen in the season and how to improve upon it. We saw the Bears in Hard Knocks. They kind of hired Nick Saban to come in and kind of help him out in this preseason. So maybe this is just kind of like what they're doing with him. Or maybe it's nothing. Maybe he's just stopping by. He wants to get a nice cheesesteak or something like that. Yeah. I really think we are hoping more for the best and not prepared for the worst. I don't think this is going to be anything at all. It may just kind of what Vic Fangio did for us when we played the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Maybe kind of be a consultant, kind of helping them out where they need to improve upon. But I don't think, as of right now, we're going to see Nick Sirianni fired. I think middle of the season it's kind of stupid to do that. And yeah, that's all I got to say.
I think we're one of those fan bases that likes to overreact and go to the dramatics right away. Hey, and it's a good thing we have a guy like Jeffrey Lurie, who's the owner, who doesn't do that. He's never fired a coach in season besides Chip Kelly, and it was with 1 week to go in the season, and Chip Kelly was looking like he might do something brash. So before he could do that, it was best just to get him out of the building. I don't think he's going to fire Nick midseason, and just given his track record, and Nick doesn't have that much control to do anything brash anyway. So all that being said too, as well, he's part of the media now. He has an office in the New Jersey headquarters that the NFL has, which is only about an hour outside of Philly. Philly's is probably the major airport closest to that office and headquarters. I think he was just honestly catching a flight just based off of when times of flights were. I don't think like there's some grand conspiracy theory to get Belichick here. I think his office is in that, and he has a designated office now in that NFL building, network building. I think it's as simple as that. He was here for work, and then earliest flight he could get the hell out of New Jersey was a Philadelphia airport flight.
Yeah, I could see it being something like that, but I will say it would be out of character for
Here
the
we
Lodi
go again.
family.
Here we
But
go again.
I wouldn't be necessarily
Hot take.
surprised because it's just weird. Like, it's probably not going to happen. I really, like I said, the main thing I'm wondering is just how Nick Sirianni's feeling tonight. I hope Nick Sirianni's sleeping easy. And I know a lot of people really want him out of here because of the childish antics. I don't think it's time for him to go yet. And I even said it in my YouTube video. If you guys go watch it, there's a whole 9-minute video on it because it's just going to cause chaos and turmoil in the locker room. It's too early. Would I be mad? No, because it's one of those things that I just want eventually to happen. But you can look at both their stats, guys, and let's compare. Let's compare both the coaches in their tenures in the regular season and in the postseason, okay? You look at
Tom
Billy
Brady
Belichick.
with
Bill
so.
Belichick in the regular season, he's 68%. Nick Sirianni in the regular season is 65%. So you're looking at a 3% difference there. Not super big, but the postseason is really where you see the jump off. Bill Belichick is 30-12 in the postseason. Nick Sirianni is 2-3. Obviously, a lot less sample size. So Bill Belichick, long story short, is 71% win-to-loss ratio, which is insane in the playoffs. Obviously, a lot of that was Tom Brady too, but a lot of it's him. I mean, he had a system that he ran there. He had expectations for a team. He didn't take any shit, and players understood what it meant to play for the New England Patriots. So as much as we may hate the peak Patriots, there is almost an imitation is the best form of flattery aspect to it, where I get it. Eagles fans expect a level of greatness. I will say Nick Sirianni, I think, has this savior and the respect of the ownership of the Eagles that he at least has this year. We'll see how this year goes. We will see, because a lot of people were frustrated. A lot of people were upset. Feels like a little bit too much emotion. He did say in the regular season, sometimes it feels like a little bit too much emotion. Sometimes there isn't even any emotion. Like, he didn't even talk to the locker room, I think, after that one game. So it's like, he's just got to, I think, get back to his old true self, which is being a locker room guy, being that coach that your players will do anything for. And I'm sure that he is, but he's got to find a way to bring out the best in these guys, and especially defensive wise, tackling wise, discipline wise as a whole, because everybody's just spent. So it was definitely time for a bye week. Is this the best time for Bill Belichick to fly into Philadelphia to maybe cause a controversy like this? As I said, this is all brewing an hour ago. I hope we don't have to say it, because Nick has done something very difficult that not a lot of coaches could do. He brought a team to a Super Bowl that nobody thought was going to go to a Super Bowl anytime soon. And he's really brought out the best in a lot of these young players. So there's not knocking him for that. Give it time. I don't think it's time to call it yet, but I get a lot of people's frustration. So we'll see a little bit more with it. If you guys haven't, we're going to get to our trivia final here in a second. So put your last minute comments in the chat, and then we're going to get out of here, because it has been a long show, but a good show. And I want to take a second to welcome KJ McCoy back to the show. Super hyped to have him. I want to thank Sean Smith for hanging out with us backstage and helping us run our comments and being a backstage producer for us. He's been a huge asset and a huge help to the show. So please make sure to show appreciation, drop a heart on the video or whatever you guys can to thank these guys for this. And of course, these two co-hosts for donating an hour and a half of their time tonight to talk about Philly sports with you guys. So please, please, please give them a follow if you don't, wherever they're at Ballpark Tommy, and of course on Jack's personal Instagram, because that's where he hangs out right now. But he's got a lot of good content on there, so stay tuned. But let's kick it to Jack. Time for everybody's favorite part of the show, 302 Trivia, with your host, Jack Dordan, the mayor of Delaware.
I can tick pick. It's Philly season, is Eagles season. It's about to be Sixers season. It's about to be Flyer season. Buy your tickets through Tick Pick. Look at a link in our bio for our link for $10 off your next purchase. No extra fees. The next question we have for you is, who was the first player to rush for 100 touchdowns? Again, who was the first player to rush for 100 touchdowns? A, Emmitt Smith. B, Jim Brown. C, Barry Sanders. or D, LaDainian Tomlinson? And your answer, let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat. Let's go to the chat. Okay. I don't see the correct answer in the chat right now. The correct answer comes from good old KJ McCoy. The right answer is LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. Correct.
Let's go.
Tommy said Emmitt Smith. Wrong. Dalton said Jim Brown. Wrong. Ashley said B. I think that's Jim Brown. Wrong. So yeah, the only answer I saw tonight was KJ McCoy. So KJ is making a strong push on his debut back at 302 Birds. So congrats to KJ. We'll have an updated scoreboard next week. Yeah, I will say last comments. Eagles are 2-2. We have a bye going in this week. We will come back strong against the Browns. KJ, welcome back to the team. Sean, welcome back again to the team. Appreciate you guys do everything you do. Buy our clothes, go to Bonfire. Links in our bio on Instagram. They got some fire shirts. I just spent like a lot of money. So our swag is legit. Dennis, I love you. Saw you in the comments. But without further ado, Tommy, I love you too, even though we had a little dispute. Without further ado,
it's good for the show. You know it. Take us out of here, Jack.
Without further ado, hey, Josh, it's an outro, not an intro. Get that motherfucking out.
What we got? 302BIRDS. Gino Stinks.
Go Birds.
Get your water ice and soft pretzels ready because you are now tuned into a 302 Birds podcast experience. Proudly presented by TickPick, Nick's Pizza, El Diablo Burritos, and Klondike Kate's on the heart of Main Street. Let's take it to the show.